Hello and welcome to a new video here on my channel here at commaik. This will be my new outdoor kitchen and I've already accomplished quite a bit. Today I'm going to install the stainless steel furniture. I've got drawer systems, various doors and a big surprise. If you want to see how I install everything, how it all works and what it looks like in the end, then stay tuned, we're about to get started. This will be my new working kitchen. In the last video I showed how I built the knee wall and the countertop. The centerpiece of my kitchen will be my Napoleon Phantom P500. I'm going to modify this grill, rebuild it and then install it right here in this niche. The other knee walls, there and over there will also get furniture. In some places I'll be installing doors, but in others I'll be using really heavy-duty commercial kitchen furniture. I've placed a few orders for this and they've now arrived. Now I'll unpack the packages together with you and then I'll show you how I install the furniture. The doors arrived well packaged and pretty quickly within 2 days. I've already unpacked one of the doors to show you what's included in the delivery. The door itself is, in typical Chinese fashion, wrapped up many times, so there's really excellent transport protection here. As you can see, the whole thing is made of stainless steel with a protective film and the hinge moves smoothly. Inside there are also bars installed where I can hang hooks, for example, to attach cookware and similar items. You'll also notice that the door stays closed. There's a magnetic latch, which I really like. This means the doors stay securely shut and don't open on their own. As for the quality, I have to say there are a few small scratches on the inside, but the exterior is really well finished. For the price, I really can't complain. The quality I've received here is surprisingly good. Also included in the package is a small steel sponge. What that's for, I'll still have to find out. Then I have this sheet here, which looks very much like a ventilation plate to me. Yeah, what that's supposed to be for, I still have to find out because that's one of the drawbacks I've already noticed. There's absolutely no installation manual included. I think overall it's pretty self-explanatory because I have the mounting brackets here on the side. Just put a screw through here and the whole thing gets screwed directly into the wood of my kitchen knee walls. However, there's no manual or anything like that included. But okay, I don't want to complain for the price. Then I have another bag here. Here's the handle. A screwdriver, small screws for the handle. Yeah, that's fine, that fits. Alright, let's pack everything back up. By the way, I'll link the door, the built-in cabinets and also the other door for you below the video in the description. If you're interested and you like the whole thing, you can easily reorder it this way. For the sake of completeness, I also want to unpack the second door to check if the product is okay here as well. You can see everything is really very well packed. Here too we find the sturdy handle, the gleaming metal plate and this small yet effective steel sponge. And as far as I can tell, everything is fine with this door as well. In addition to the two rather large doors, I also specifically ordered a somewhat smaller door. This particular door is truly meant to be installed in the small confined corner. Double walled, as you can see here. Here the sticker is black now. The film has a few small scratches, but nothing that shows through anywhere. Here too, the mounting is self-explanatory. I will cut an opening into the wall, into my wooden wall, so that it fits in just right. And then these brackets here would extend into the wood. A screw goes into the wood from the side, and the whole thing should hold. What I don't like so much now is that this bracket, hopefully you can see it, is relatively flush with the edge. That means, in my opinion, it would have made more sense to make this bracket a bit smaller to set it a bit further in. Because as it is, I have to cut the hole exactly at this height and I don't have a rebate, no edge that would cover the hole from the outside. Here I really have to work very precisely, because if the hole is as big as the outer edge, since I have to get the whole thing in to screw it tight, then I'll see every gap that appears on the sides. It could have been solved differently, but I think for a price just under 100 euros, I can't really complain. Accessories are also included and the handle is here as well. Very nice, I like that. The next door is a double door. This door was originally intended to be able to open both sides under the wash basin, to make it easier to access underneath. But I will also install this same model of door under the grill, because the size really fits very well. This door is about as wide as the grill, which means I can easily replace the black doors of my Napoleon Phantom P500 by simply mounting this door in front of them. Here too you can see there are already some scratches, but when I remove the protective film, everything underneath is fine. Here too, everything is made of stainless steel, rust-proof. There's no magnetic latch. I'll have to check if it's still in the bag here, but it doesn't look like it. 2 handles are included, but the magnetic catch or the magnet to keep the doors closed can be added later. You can buy them at the hardware store, they don't cost much. What I like much better here though is the installation frame. As you can see, I have the frame here with the 2 holes to screw the whole thing securely into the wood. I will make the cutout in the wall as large as this frame. The whole thing will be inserted into the wood using this frame and then screwed in place from the sides. On the outside, however, I now have the significant advantage that I have a substantial overhang of a good 2 to 3 centimeters here. That means the inner hole is only slightly smaller than the surrounding frame, or rather it is a bit larger than this specific inner frame. The frame around the outside covers the hole, so I can work comfortably and don't have to be precise down to the millimeter, because I have a bit of leeway here, as the frame wonderfully conceals any carelessness or inaccuracies. I find this better than with the small door, but well, that's something I have to live with. I had already unpacked this one. It's a model with 2 drawers. What was truly interesting to me about this particular model from the very start was that these 2 drawers were built in directly, and consequently there was absolutely no way to easily pull them out. I carefully hooked in here with a small screw and gently pulled the drawer out, and now with this simple modification I can open both drawers easily. The whole thing clicks into place, though it's a bit wobbly, but I have a double runner attached underneath here. According to the instructions, the whole thing should be greased a bit more, then it will run much more smoothly. What I can't show you in the video at this point, but do want to mention, is that there's definitely a slight smell of oil or grease. This thing probably comes straight from the factory and should be aired out for a while, but honestly my grill didn't smell any different, and after a few days it was all gone. I also have a small box here. I assume this contains the accessories. Here we have a handle, another additional handle, a 3rd distinct handle, and all of the necessary screws. There's even a comprehensive product manual included right here in the box. However, it's more or less just a catalog and not an installation guide. Because right now, as I look at all this, I already have a big question. I have the screws here, which the rails are attached to, but otherwise there are no other openings or screw holes. There's nothing visible on the underside, nothing on the back, and nothing on the other side either. If I now install this cabinet into the wall, I have no mounting point here to attach it to the wall anywhere. My goal, my idea, is to cut open the wall at a height of 10 centimeters, lay the aerated concrete blocks I still have left on the floor. They're 10 centimeters thick, and I'll seal the whole thing from above with a protective film. And then this cabinet will be placed on top of the aerated concrete block via the OSB board. so that the whole thing sits flush with the surface. However, I do have some concerns that if I pull out the drawer and there's a lot of weight here, the cabinet might tip forward. That's why the whole thing should be screwed together in some way. I'm inclined to remove the bottom drawer as well as the top one and then insert 2 screws from the inside into the aerated concrete so that this cabinet can be securely fastened in the niche where I want to install it. That way the whole thing won't wobble or in the worst case even get stolen. Another piece of restaurant furniture was shipped in this box. You can see that the box has had an outer edge added afterwards. So when unpacking, you should have a good box cutter on hand. This is a pull-out that can be opened in 3 stages. Again, there's absolutely no discernible way to open these particular drawers. Now, what I'll do is simply take a small screw and then carefully pull the entire thing up a little bit. And as you can clearly see, it truly moves quite smoothly and effortlessly. There are a total of 3 drawers. I first set up the cabinet bodies on the worktop to take a look at everything. I'm surprised at how far you can pull the whole thing out. I can fit a lot of work materials in there, and the whole thing is also very sturdy. What I don't like about both models, as I mentioned earlier, is that if I have heavy things underneath here, the whole thing gets levered down. I need to secure this cabinet body in some way. So that I can open the doors regularly, I'll start by attaching the handles. What I haven't quite figured out yet, there are small screws included here. And in addition, in this set, I also have 2 screws for the handle. And if I just unpack it now, you'll see that the screws are again separately shrink wrapped, which is very important, so that a sufficient amount of plastic film is produced. The handles, you'll also notice, are completely identical in their design and appearance. So the screws that come with this, I can't imagine they actually fit because they're just way too long. I suspect that these screws are used for the double-walled drawers because the pull-out drawer is only single-walled. This is where these will be used, the small screws with a small washer. You can clearly see here, I really have to press in the very last bit with quite some significant force. The significant advantage here is that the entire mechanism is completely sealed, ensuring it holds firmly and securely in place. With this particular component, it is remarkably simple. It's enough if I just gently press it in with my finger and it will be perfectly seated. That doesn't work here, you have to use force here. I've also installed the handles on the other drawers. And as you can see, I managed to remove the drawers from the cabinet. It's done in a pretty simple way. There's a small black hook on the side here. On one side, it absolutely has to be gently pushed downwards, and on the other side, it must be carefully lifted upwards in order to successfully release it from its secure catch mechanism. So wherever the lever bends, that's where you bend it. This is what the whole thing looks like up close. And then I can remove and clean the drawer. And of course, this also gives me the opportunity to secure the carcass. Inside it looks like this. The rollers are functional, I would say. They don't wobble, they're stable, and they glide pretty well. But you can also tell that I ultimately paid almost 200 euros for this. What I can do is drill holes here on the side, and then I can screw the carcass directly to the side wall. The drawer sits underneath, where this carcass will be installed. I'll install the first door here in the corner. It's one of the larger doors, which will be placed roughly here. What do you need to pay attention to? First, I've already taken the measurements, specifically the size of the opening from the inside edge to the inside edge. That's 35.5 centimeters, and from up here to down here it's another 51 centimeters. If I attach the whole thing here like this frame will cover my cutout and I can saw here with peace of mind. In terms of the opening, I have a stud profile behind the OSB board here, and also a stud profile behind it over here, so I can vary back and forth between them here. However, I want to get these openings, these screw holes I have here, somewhere into the side of the wood. The OSB board is too narrow for that, which means I have to screw another piece of wood to the inside. This piece of wood has to be screwed next to the stud profile, and only next to it can I start with the door. Furthermore, it's important to note that when I install the door now and open it, as you can see, it opens quite far. Set it down carefully. If the door is hinged too far to the left, it can happen that the door bangs against the wall. I want to prevent that, and at the very least make sure the door handle has enough space to allow a 90-degree opening. That definitely works here. I have enough space for that. Now I'm going to mark out the opening, and for this I'll start at the bottom. My base plate is almost perfectly level, at least in this area. And I want the different door heights. I have the large doors here, the small doors, the various cabinets, to visually match each other to some extent, and I do that by using the same height from the bottom. I've measured it out and decided to set everything at 12 centimeters. I'll make a small mark here and then use the spirit level to draw it all out. So, with a width of 35.5 centimeters, or I could make it a bit easier for myself depending on how it looks visually. I need to make sure that the wood fits in between here, and it definitely fits on the other side as well. So basically it just needs to look nice somewhere around here. I think this spot would be perfectly fine. Music? Music. To be able to cut the hole in this board, I can either use my circular saw directly, or I can do the following: drill into the corner with a drill. Ideally, use a sharp drill bit and then start the jigsaw in this hole. Music. So after I trimmed the hole again, it doesn't look quite as nice anymore, but in terms of size, it fits now. And the advantage of this door is that, thanks to the wide frame, it doesn't really matter if I cut it precisely. You simply can't see it anymore. Just quickly put the spirit level on it. Yep, we can get it straight. The lovely music. The hole in the wall has been cut and the cabinet fits perfectly into the opening. However, it doesn't sit flush. It's only hanging in the front in the wood. To make sure the whole thing has enough support so that it can rest somewhere and achieve the necessary stability, I'll first lay down some roofing felt on the floor to protect the aerated concrete block, which I'll then lay flat under this cabinet from moisture. Afterwards, we'll drill holes here and then screw the cabinet to the aerated concrete. The beautiful music. The cabinet is screwed into the wall. At the back it rests on the stone or on the OSB board, and I've drilled holes in the stainless steel cabinet on this side and on the other side, and screwed it to the OSB board with a reinforced piece of wood. The whole thing holds. Now I will holds. Second one as well. Holds. Turned out well, didn't it? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below how you feel about these components. It's done. I've installed the doors and the cabinets. The doors close really well. I have plenty of space and I'm going to add shelves and similar things here. As you can see, there's also enough space under the sink to fit the siphon, the drain and so on. By the way, this door is also magnetic, even though I didn't notice it right away during installation. Only this small door isn't magnetic, but it still closes on its own. You can feel a very slight resistance. Maybe there actually is a magnet installed, I don't know, but the door is closed, it stays shut. That's important. I've successfully installed the other door right here, as you can see. And the 2-drawer systems, the 3-drawer and the 2-drawer units. I'm going to carefully install the sizzle zone burner right up here, which is precisely why I truly need this dedicated space. And then on the other side, the entire construction is really very stable and secure. What I don't have, you can notice it here, is that I have to pull it out with a bit of force. And if I give it a push now, the drawers don't close by themselves, but they do close fairly easily. I can easily push it shut here with my little finger. That's the difference compared to a premium provider, for which I'd have to add another 0 to the price tag. Here on this side, you can see there's still something missing. Specifically, a built-in module consisting of a 3-drawer system and a trash bin system. This module is currently not available. I have it on the waiting list. As soon as it arrives, I'll install it as well. Once I'm done with that, the OSB board will be covered. I'm still not really sure whether I'll cover it with a vinyl tile, a film, or something similar. I need something with minimal thickness because I don't want to hide the doors behind a raised surface. Do you have any ideas for me? How did you solve this? Just leave me a tip down in the comments. What would you use for decoration to finish off the OSB boards if you were in my place? By the way, the built-in parts, my tools, and the other things I've installed here, You can find the links to them below the video in the product description. If you're also planning to build an outdoor kitchen and want to use these materials, just take a look below and click on the links. Same price for you and a small commission for me and my channel. Here in the gap, I'll continue with installing my grill. The Napi is still here, the Napoleon. I'll be removing the doors. I'm going to install a double door here, which has already been ordered. This board will be placed in front and cut to size so that only this area of the grill above is visible. But I'll continue to use the body of the grill. If you want to know how I do all this, how I install this grill, dismantle the side parts and especially the side burner, which I'm going to fit into the countertop this season, then subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any of the new videos. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it, and of course, I'd love to read your comments too. What would you like to tell me? What would you like to share with me? Write it down below in the comments section under the video. At this point, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Take care. Bye.